Okay, so here's the thing, folks. What we were trying to do was to draw from an account evidenced by the birth certificate and using that number claiming it was the actual account. But that would require that the government have millions of accounts, and I don't think they do that now. I think what that does, here's you, your birth certificate evidences that there has been payment from you through the fact that you were born here into the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing upon that fund to meet these demands and payments. And right now there's over $5 billion in there for you to access in order to pay and meet certain fundamental needs. Now listen to this. Let's suppose there's this Consolidated Revenue Fund, there's you, and there's your representative, and you're all existing in Canada. Now your representative will not argue that they have a right to access the Consolidated Revenue Fund, even though they're not paying into it as a representative, in order to take money out of it and pay for things like their heat, their water, their rent, even trips, $500 office chairs. All of these things are justified expenditures for your representatives to draw from the Consolidated Revenue Fund, even though they don't pay into it. Now, since you pay into it, and it's okay for your representatives to use this money for things like food, water, heat, and rent, then why isn't it okay for you to draw from it and pay for the things that you need as well? There is not a government agent out there who could argue that they have a right to draw from the Consolidated Revenue Fund to pay rent and heat and water and hydro, and yet you can't. How could they do that? Sorry, representative, you're fired the moment they even try. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're no longer trying to draw from an account saying the birth certificate is the account or it has the account number. All that does is evidence that you have paid into the Consolidated Revenue Fund, and therefore you have a right to draw from it. And this Consolidated Revenue Fund, it belongs to Canada. It belongs to the people of Canada, not the government of Canada, and it is only administered by the government of Canada. And what I think is that the $5 billion they've got sitting in there, I think all of these remittances that they've got floating around, I think they're all covered by that $5 billion in there. And I think you can use that $5 billion to pay for your rent, your food, your hydro. Now this doesn't mean you should be living high off the hog. It just means you shouldn't be getting kicked out to the street, homeless and hungry and broke, because you might not have enough income coming in to cover those needs. And I see no evidence, no reason why your representatives would be able to have their heat paid for by your fund, and yet you can't pay for it from your fund yourself directly. What I can do by my representative, by way of proxy, I can do directly. So if my representatives can draw from the fund, so can we. So that's what we're going to be doing. No more account, this is my account. Nope. Your birth certificate evidences that you have paid into the big account, and that's the one we're going to be drawing from. Now, in order to draw from that account, you're going to need the Minister of Finance to okay it. And that means you're going to have to send a letter to him increasing his mandate, empowering him to do just that.